The title of the book I chose to read is Tamar. It's a novel about espionage, passion, and betrayal. This is my first time reading Mal Peep, who is the author of the book, and what I like about his style of writing in this general book is that he took World War II, but he kind of combined it into a smaller image of it. Such as, the book takes place with two special operation executives, Tamar and Dart, who are spies during the Hunger Winter of 1944 during World War II. And their mission is to really just kind of find out more about the Nazis, and they have lots of close encounters. And probably the best thing about, finding out, just like knowing their tale and all that, is just the amount of imagery that Malpete incorporates within the book. I remember this one part of the book that it described like 2 pages of just airplanes lifting off into the sky, and it was probably one of the best things I ever read. While it does take place in 1944, it then jumps to 1995, where it takes place within Tamara, who is a 15-year-old girl, and Tamara, the old Tamara in 1944, is William Hyde, who is her grandfather. And the 1944 Tamara leaves behind a box, notes, maps, just things that the grandpa left behind, so that she could try to find the truth behind him. I believe the author's purpose in writing this is just to kind of get a different perspective than everyone knows about the World War II. I would definitely recommend this book to anyone really interested in reading more about espionage, because it really incorporates that feeling, but it also incorporates it with lots of imagery, so you almost know everything that is going on. I mean, it had a great effect on me. I started to analyze more about text, and with the great imagery, I started to pick out pieces that I really couldn't from other books, and I started to make an image in my mind. And with that image, how amazing of a book this is, and I definitely recommend for anyone to read it.
Hi, my name is Sai, and I read this book called The Serpent's Shadow by Rick Riordan. It was published by Disney Hyperion in May 1st, 2012, and the author of this book is Rick Riordan. He's one of my favorite authors, and as a kid, I used to read all of his books when I was in elementary and middle school. The cool and sad thing about this book is that this is the last book out of the three-part series, and I only read 2 when I was in middle school. I never finished this 3rd book. So I started reading it again this last year of high school, and I just wanted to finish the series and fix the cliffhanger, which was in the 2nd book. And so in this novel, quick summary is that 2 teens, the protagonists, Carter and Sadie, live in a world basically of Egyptian mythology. Gods from Egyptian mythology, like the sun god Ra, have been alive throughout the majority of history and are impacting the world right now. And they basically stumble into the Egyptian realm of gods when they accidentally release the chaos god named Apophis, who basically wants to eat the sun. It's a popular tale from Egyptian mythology that Rick Riordan uses, and it's his play on a modern take of Egyptian mythology. I think the author's purpose in the story was to add on to his other stories. A popular thing that Rick Riordan does is he likes to combine 2 universes. So in this case, he has a Greek mythology series called Percy Jackson and the Olympians. They decided to mix their characters together. So this Egyptian mythology book would fall into his Greek mythology series. And some elements of this work that specifically stood out to me was the theme of anachronism. Something that Rick Riordan did in a lot of his books was he mixed themes of past cultures, so in this case Egyptian mythology, and he'd mix it with a modern take of Egyptian mythology. So in this case, there's one part in the story where Riordan humorously mixed phones and related them to mummification using his theme of anachronism, and it was a really interesting thing to read. And overall, for someone else to read, I would definitely recommend this if they're into mythology. I certainly learned a lot about Egyptian mythology after reading this, and the effect that it had on me as a kid is the same effect that it has on me. I'm genuinely interested. I'm looking forward to more books because I definitely want to read more of the series after reading this.
I read The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway. It's about an old fisher and a boy who's the old man's best friend. And so the old fisher, he's had 85 days of bad luck. So the boy urges him to go out a little further than usual. Maybe you'll catch something bigger, you never know. So the old man takes his advice and goes out further than usual, and he catches the biggest marlin he's ever seen. And so he doesn't want to pull the marlin up on his boat right away. He is all alone because no one wants to go out with him since he is very unlucky. So he bears the weight of the marlin over the shoulders with his fishing line because he doesn't want the line to break as he's pulling it up. So he's bearing the weight of the marlin for several days and kind of lets the marlin guide his boat throughout the ocean. And so finally he decides, I need to bring it up and I need to kill this fish because I need to get home. So he brings it up, he stabs it with a harpoon, and then he sets sail home. Although the blood trail from the fish attracts several sharks, and before he can reach the shore, the sharks have devoured the fish, leaving only a skeleton. So he returns home, and he returns to his daily life, having 86 days of bad luck now. So one thing I really liked about the book was its beautiful imagery throughout. You could really feel like you were in the story. So the old man was thin and gaunt, with deep wrinkles in the back of his neck. The brown blotches of the benevolent skin cancer the sun brings from its reflection on the tropic sea were on his cheeks. The blotches ran well down the sides of his face, and his hands had the deep creased scars from handling heavy fish on the cords. And so another thing I really liked about the book was the connection between the boy and the old man. The boy says, "I remember everything from when we first went together." The old man looked at him with his sunburned, confident, loving eyes. "If you were my boy, I'd take you out and gamble," he said. "But you are your father's and your mother's, and you are in a lucky boat." I think the old man really sees some of himself in the boy, and he wants the boy to have a better life than he did. So he wants the boy to stay with his father and mother, and he's in a lucky boat right now, so he wants him to stay in there. But the boy continues to go to the old man and seek his guidance, and just kind of he hangs out with him for the first part of the book until the old man goes out into the sea. His parents don't want the boy to go out with the old man anymore since he's been so unlucky, and so the boy kind of waits for his return every time he goes out. So overall, I really like this book. I would definitely recommend it to anyone. It's pretty short. It's only 104 pages, but it is definitely a good read. There's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of imagery packed in here, and you really feel like you're the old man when he's fishing.